maybe what I do differently, there could be a lot of other guys that are doing this as well from a culture standpoint, is not only do I want to build relationships with our players, but I want to make sure they're significant. I want to build significant relationships with our players and our players' families.
Welcome to the JAMODI Podcast. Today we're joined by the head boys basketball coach at Weatherford High School, Neal Welch. Coach Welch had a great playing career at Clarendon College and finished third all-time in threes made in a season at UT Tyler. He's been coaching for 16 years with stops at Grace Community, Buffalo, Crowley, and Odessa High School before coming to Weatherford. His career record is 194 wins and 99 losses. Coach Welch was named Parker County Coach of the Year in 2023-24. He's led the Roos to back-to-back winning seasons and playoff berths, including the best record in school history in 2024-25. Coach Welch has flipped 4 programs from losing records to winning records with playoff berths at each school, and his teams have made playoffs 14 out of 16 years. Before we hear from Coach, take a moment to subscribe to our podcast and follow us on social media at JAMODI Podcast.
Welcome to the Ballology app Ultimate Demo. Trusted by leaders in the game. Ballology is a player development platform built for coaches and players alike. You can expect live shot tracking, workout libraries, and AI insights. You can easily chart team shooting drills in practice or in training sessions. Track all of those shots using an iPhone or an Android device in real time. You can view your team's performance through a video archive or by using our shot charts. After every shooting workout, take a look at your breakdown by viewing your percentages and your shot locations. Let's take a deeper look to learn how to make the most out of the Ballology app. Let's see how you measure up in the Ballology Skills Assessment, where you can test your shooting skills versus other shooters worldwide. Navigate to Ballology AI, where you can ask any question to get answers in real time for smarter training.
Make that footwork a little more sharp.
Coaches or players can create custom workouts in just minutes. Fit your on-court skills or basketball IQ or even strength and conditioning. It can be done on the Ballology app. Compete with everything you do on the Ballology app through our workout leaderboards. Elevate your game with the Ballology app. Download it for free today.
So how's this summer been for you?
It has been busy. This has been my first chance to just kind of get away a little bit, just as far as getting away from the school. You know, I feel like not only am I up there Monday through Thursday, we give the kids Friday off, the ones that are playing AAU and that sort of stuff, but we host a lot of tournaments at Weatherford High School, and I'm the facilities coordinator. And so I'm up there almost every weekend as well, it feels like. So summers are pretty busy for me.
That's good. Well, man, I had the pleasure of getting to come to your gym. I guess that was June. This last month has been crazy busy and just a lot of things going on, but it was awesome getting to be your gym. Your facilities are incredible there at Weatherford, and also just excited to have this time with you after the amazing year you had there. And so, Coach, just really want to thank you for your time.
I appreciate you having me on. This has been, I listen to the podcast pretty often. You've had numerous coaches from all kinds of different levels, and I've enjoyed just sitting around learning and listening to all those great guys that you've had on.
And I appreciate that. It's always nice to know that there's a couple of people out there that are checking it out. And I'm with you. I mean, I learned something from every talk, that I get to be a part of. And I don't want to say that I have a favorite, but there's the D1 coaches. They have an interesting perspective on things, all the way down, to the D3 junior college coaches. But there is something about getting to learn from high school coaches, because you and I mean, we typically have the same resources. We have the same, let's just call them not obstacles, but opportunities that we have to maneuver. So us getting to learn and talk to each other, I mean, I just find that's really helpful.
I agree. I think a lot of us did get that opportunity, at least the guys that I'm around, to play in college. Maybe it was small school. There's guys that have coached in college and then decided to go the high school route, or coached in high school and then wanted to take their chance at the college level. And so I played small college basketball, coached in college for a year, and then went the high school route. But I feel like I've been able to learn from just so many different, whether it's high school coaches, college coaches, guys that play the game, guys that didn't play the game that are extremely good coaches. And so, just learning from all those different guys has helped me just kind of in my coaching career.
Yeah, I love that. And great point about guys that played versus guys that didn't play. I think you and I both have seen enough evidence of just because you played, that doesn't mean that you can coach it very well, or you may have an idea of how you do things, but maybe that doesn't work or translate for the players that you have. So sometimes, take a guy like Coach Drew, played a little bit in high school, but I don't even think all the way through, or maybe barely all the way through, and then kind of went the student assistant route for his dad, but worked his way up. And there's a lot of coaches out there like that. And that I do always enjoy their perspective, because I don't know what time it was for me, and maybe you can answer when it was for you. But for a long time, I was still watching the game as a player and thinking to myself how I would do things. And I don't know if that always helps our current players out.
Yeah, I think for myself, I coach a lot different than I played. As a player, I became pretty conservative as I got older. It was like, hey, this is what we need you to do to be on the court. And so that's what I ended up doing. Where maybe in high school, I was a little more free and doing different things. But now as a coach, I feel like I'm pretty risky. I do a lot of things differently than a lot of other coaches, just as far as changing up defenses, maybe in a possession, right? Or pressing when maybe we don't have the guys on paper that should be pressing, but hey, we're going to try it anyway. Or we're going to trap out of this sideline out of bounds possession. Or, we're going to do things that may be a little bit risky for our roster, but at the same time, let's shock people. Let's try to catch people off guard. Let's try to make something happen, because maybe we don't have a team that's as athletic as some of the teams we're playing against.
So you said that was a little bit different than you played. Where did you kind of pick up that idea of disrupting and making them always kind of wondering or guessing what changes are going to happen? Where'd that come from for you?
Yeah, that definitely came from Coach Starnes at Clarendon Junior College.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I played there, and it was press the whole game, shoot threes. And I was like, me press it or what? What's going on here? And he just taught me that you can get the most out of guys. You really can. If they believe in you, they believe what you're preaching, you can do that as a coach, and you have that ability to do that. And so I've kind of taken that, and I played at a few other places as well, and taken things from other coaches and just kind of combine it to have my own style. And we mix up things. That's what we do. I want the opponent to kind of never know what they're going to get from us, especially when you have, and no offense to any of the guys I've coached or currently coach, but maybe average or less to average talent, And so how do you get the most out of that? I think you have to be unique and creative and create opportunities for your guys to compete and make it a close game. And then, hey, you never know what could happen after that.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned Coach Starnes' name. I wrote it down. I'm going to reach out to him. The fact that I haven't had him on here yet to talk hoops, that's a crime. It's so glad that you brought that down. He is somebody that, I don't know, I just feel like every coach knows him. Every coach has like a great experience with him. And I knew about his style of play at Clarendon. And so to have him on would be great. And I like the fact that you were able to learn that from him, and a coach that you played for, but then you've also pulled from some other places. Sometimes people ask me, because we like to run a gun and have some fun.
Yeah.
And where did that come from? I think a lot of people assume that I must have played that way. Like Matt Garnett, a buddy of mine, played for Kenny Hoffpower at Glenrose. And if you ever talk to a guy like Kenny Hoffpower, there's only one way to play, and it's pressing. And he had some heart issues years ago. Coach Hoffpower did. And texted some of us. We were like, "Hey, Coach, how are you?" And he's like, "Still pressing, won't stop." Like it's just in his blood. But
Yeah.
I didn't play that way. Coach Thomas was at the Colony, was very much a defensive guy. Coach Bliss, at my first coach at Baylor, we ran flex, 4-man flex, 5, like all kinds of things there. very controlled. And then my senior year, we only had 6 players, and so we couldn't really do that either with Coach Drew. So it was kind of trial and error. I give Coach Watson at McKinney High School a ton of credit, because one thing I think that is good that comes from losing seasons is it makes you open your mind up and explore what can we do. And we got to do something different than we just did. And we had a season like that at McKinney. He was into pressing. I was into getting into dribble drive. And we had a smaller team that on paper, like you said, didn't look like the most talented, but we're skilled and can shoot it. And man, we just embraced that. And for me, what really grasped it as a coach was seeing the joy that it brought from my players. And then it was kind of like, oh man, now that I've seen that, I can't go back.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think that when you can be creative in your coaching, it just helps. It helps you as a coach. It helps your assistants learn. You don't have to do it one way. And there's a lot of guys that are very successful doing it one way. And I applaud them and commend them for being able to do that. A lot of it has to do with your roster. I truly believe that. Some years, man, you might be able to press and do that the whole game and give your players a lot more freedom because they've proven that they can create and do certain things through your offense. And then, man, some years it may have to be a little more structured. We may have to be in a zone a little more this year type thing. So I just think really learning from everyone, it just helps you as a coach. It really does.
That's a good nugget. And speaking of playing, or former players, you sent me a picture, and this is you're gonna test my editing skills, because in the video, I'm gonna try to, like, right now, splice it up on the video. But it's of you and I playing. And Coach, I don't even now when I saw the picture, I remembered a little bit of it, but what turn was that in Farmers Branch in Carrollton?
That was a Farmers Branch Recreation Center men's league, I guess. And you know how it was back then, probably early 2000s, maybe 2006, 7, somewhere in there.
Mid 2000s, yeah.
Yeah, we played with whoever we could, and we got asked to play on a team. Yeah, we went to Rosemead, and what are the other ones? Some of those in Carrollton, and we just played all the time. So I don't even know how you were on that team. I know some of those guys. I went to high school with most of those guys. And so, but yeah, we played together, and I was like, man, I know I played with him in a Farmers Branch league. But what's crazy
we won the championship.
We did. And I don't remember that, but we did because the picture proves it.
That's right.
But what's crazy about that picture is, you and I became coaches. A lot of guys in that picture became successful. I know most of them. But one guy in that picture is a very popular Texas country artist. His name is Charlie Crockett. And I don't know if you're familiar, if you listen to that kind of music, but at that time he went by Matt Crockett, but his musician name is Charlie Crockett, and he's done very, very well for himself. So that's pretty interesting.
So he's actually the most famous one out of that whole group right there, for sure. That's funny. Coach, I love getting to learn about daily habits, and it's one of my favorite things about getting to do this is you and I get the same amount of time in every day, but how you use your seconds, how I use mine, that's really the difference. So what are some of those daily habits that set you up for success?
Yeah, my first one is have to work out in the morning. When I wake up, I have to go work out. And the reason is when I finished playing college basketball, I got pretty addicted to the weight room. And sadly, anything that GNC was selling, I was taking it. All the pre-workouts.
Paycheck just went right there.
Yeah. All the pre-workouts, all the protein shakes, you name it, I was taking it. And I had a little scare where my heart started beating really fast one day after a workout, and went to the doctor, told me nothing was wrong. Anyway, fast forward, I no longer take any pre-workouts. I don't put anything in my body. I'm a huge advocate for doing everything naturally. Now I may go to Smoothie King and have a protein shake or something, but I do not put anything in my body. And I really limit my caffeine. I don't drink coffee. I try not to drink soda.
I actually wrote that down. I was going to ask you about because Is caffeine natural? Is it not? Like how many you do? Keep going. Yeah.
So I rarely will have a Coke or a Dr. Pepper or anything like that. And I don't drink coffee. So my morning workout is my coffee. Right. So if I don't work out in the morning, I feel like I don't get myself going. And if I don't get myself going, I'm not good enough for my kids and my players. And so it's very important to me to get that workout in the morning. And I struggle with it. It's hard. It's hard to get up sometimes. I've got 2 little ones. And so when they're up crying or whatever it may be in the middle of the night, it's difficult, but I really try to push through and get that workout in because I know I'm a better coach and I make better decisions throughout my day as far as eating healthy and things like that, because we expect our players, to give their best effort. Well, I think we need to do the same thing as coaches. And for me, it starts with working out in the morning.
And no doubt the high achievers out there, most of them, I feel like get up and they do something physical. There's something about that just gets our mind going. It could be an incline walk. It could be doing some push-ups. It could be getting a full-blown workout in. Do you like to do it fasted or do you eat a little something before you do it?
Fasted. I think in my older age, I can't eat and then go work out. I mean, I'll feel it in my stomach.
Yeah.
So I've got to do it with no food.
Man, I feel better. I like my workouts even better without food now, especially right in the morning. I think for anybody worried about, well, what about your protein before it? No, I think we've got enough stored in some way that we'll be just fine as long as you get your protein in at some point of the day.
Yeah, I agree.
Man, I think it was Tommy Penders Jr. And if this wasn't him, then I'm sorry. But I thought I can remember him saying that as coaches, we have to bring the juice every day. Like we can't have bad days. And so some days you may not feel great and you just have to muster it up. But what if you did create a routine or you had steps in place to where it allowed us to have our best days? Because like you said, if we expect them to show up a certain way, man, we have to do it. I thought that was a great point.
Yeah. And I think that's where, having a great relationship with your assistant coaches comes into play. If, like our varsity, we practice in the morning. So let's just say I was sick, right? And I show up, hey, we're going to meet real quick. Guys, I'm not feeling that great. I really need you guys to step up a little more today than usual and have a louder voice, just because today I may not be as vocal. And that's rare, but I just think when you have assistants and you're all on the same page and hey, the head coach is usually this way, something's off. Well, then they need to know, hey, it's time to step up and be a little more vocal in today's practice.
I think that's good for, obviously, if you're sick, but that's good to do throughout the year anyway, especially if they have aspirations to be head coaches. I know I've been guilty of, especially my younger days, of my voice being pretty much the only one heard in practice, something I wish I could go back and do. Part of that's trust, right? Like you've got to build that trust with your assistants, and maybe it's a year or two or some time. But man, I think empowering them like that, whether you're sick or not, definitely probably a good thing to do, right?
I agree. I was the same way as a young coach. I feel like I had to do everything, and I've delegated more and more and more to, now I think one of the questions, we'll talk about this a little bit later, but now I let my assistant handle the subbing. That's one example of what I've given up. We may have a defensive and an offensive coordinator on our staff, depending on the year. We have some new coaches this year that I'm excited about, but, it just kind of varies year to year. And as a head coach, you feel that out, kind of what your assistants are capable of, and you want to make sure you put them in a situation to be successful as well.
And it is nice if you can give them subbing, because I'm more of the offensive-minded guy than I've got a guy that's a defensive-minded one on the bench. And then if somebody can just kind of be looking at that. And Coach, what are your thoughts on, are you subbing based on kind of almost like, I like the way the NBA does it, where they have a script and this is how long you can go. And then you're going to sit, no matter what's going on in the game, for the most part, you're going to stay down for that amount of time. And then we're going to get you back in. Or are you subbing more based on maybe mistakes, fatigue? How is that working with your assistant?
Yeah, we don't have a script. And There could be somewhat of a script, maybe for the first quarter or the first half, but then sometimes the one player you don't need to pick up 3 fouls picked up 3 fouls, or some years you may play 7 guys, some years you may play 9 or 10, and so it just kind of depends year to year and really game to game as far as kind of having that script. I'd say more of a first half there could be. Second half, it's more, all right, who's in foul trouble? Who do we trust in these situations? Who are we playing against? Our district that we're in is loaded. We have North Crowley and Crowley, and then we have the Mansfield schools in Boswell. And so it's very tough, very, very tough district. Yeah. And it varies. It varies game to game on, who our dudes are because of different factors.
Yeah. At Midway, well, for the first time, man, I think since McKinney, we're moving to first period, or I'm moving to first period athletics. So practice will be in the morning. I'd love it if you don't mind. Maybe this is just for me, but maybe other coaches too that have that same time. What does the morning look like in the fall? And then what does it look like when you're getting into the season? Is just as far as like times and things that you're doing.
Yeah, so with the UIL allowing us to lift weights before or after school now, we take advantage of that. So we'll lift in the morning before we work out in the fall. Before we, are in our athletic period in the fall. Yeah. So we transition straight from the weight room to the court. And weight room wise, our strength and conditioning coach is a former head basketball coach, which is absolutely awesome. And so most places I've been
right there. Yeah.
Do what?
That's a unicorn right there. That's nuts.
Most places I've been, I've handled the strength and conditioning, but he's great. He knows what we want, what the time is how long we want to be in there. And I'm in there as well, but he's running the show. And then we transition to the floor for our, we'll start right as the first period is starting. So I think for us, it's right around 8:10, 8:15. And then, we go as long as we can, because the one drawback is you got to get those guys showered and ready for second period. And so you have to cut it off a little early. Practices in general for me, I personally believe in and out intense. We don't want to practice longer than a game. So if a game is an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes, we don't want to practice for, any longer than that. And so that's kind of the way we transition into when the season actually starts, and we get more time to practice with those guys. And so, the fall we're lifting, and then we go into practice. We do a lot of conditioning early on, really making sure we have our legs gearing up for our October practice, and then into those scrimmages and into the season.
Good. What time are you starting in the mornings during the fall?
So we'll get there at about 7:15.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll get there
That's not bad.
Yeah, 7:15, and we'll lift, and then we'll transition over to the court.
In season, are you lifting after school?
Yes, actually we do. So we lift twice a week, Wednesday, Saturday. We'll lift after school on Wednesdays, and then Saturdays we really like to take advantage of Saturdays. Lift, watch film, and get a practice in. So our Saturdays are a little bit longer, but man, they are necessary. When I hear guys that don't practice on the weekends, I'm just like, wow, that's crazy to me. And we'll have open gyms on Sundays too, where guys can come get shots up as well. And so, I just feel like if you're not working hard, yes, sir.
Sorry, do you mind me asking what times and what that looks like?
So many people attend church on Sundays, including myself. Yeah. So we do not want to interfere with that whatsoever. So usually it'll be a later time, like a 3 to 4, and it'll just be an hour. Like, hey guys, I'm going to be up here. Okay. I'm doing some stuff in the office. The gym's open. You guys come get some shots up if you'd like. Obviously Sundays, non-mandatory, but we take advantage of Saturdays.
I like that. The days that you don't lift, and this is in season, the days that you don't lift after school, are they able to go pretty much home right when the bell rings if you don't have a game? So our freshmen are 8th period, and our varsity and JV are first period. So our freshmen
we'll practice, up until the 5:15 or so. If they're doing things on, let's say, if they're on half court, because our girls' basketball is in our main gym at that time. So if they're, going 5-on-5 half court, well, we'll allow some of our first period guys to come shoot on the other end if they want to get shots up. They're not going to interfere or anything. If they ever want to come after school and get some shots up, we really try to make that happen for those guys.
I like that. And thanks for walking me through that. It's kind of funny just after, I don't know, this is year 19. Anytime the schedule changes or there's something different, I just feel like I want to get kind of as much advice on what's the best way to do it as possible. And I think our schedules are almost identical. The JV and varsity first period, the freshman eighth period. Yeah, excited for the challenge there. And kind of to go back, this is back to your pre-workout and all that stuff. I completely agree with, in my 20s especially, I'd still do a lot of caffeine now, but all of that stuff, the pre-workout and all that stuff, definitely started to mess with like some flutters, and it shocks you a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
And I made the decision back then, like the pre-workout, the stuff that you can go buy, NO Explode was like my favorite, to not do any of that. And then, but I'd still do some ghosts and stuff from now and then.
Yeah, I try to stay away from it. Honestly, it kind of scared me. And so now when I lift, I'm definitely not as strong as I used to be, but that's not why I go lift. I go lift because I feel like I'm a better person when I work out.
Man, at Odessa High School for 4 years, and you're able to turn, I don't know if that program was bad before you got there or is in a tough spot, but you definitely had some success before coming to Weatherford. So anytime that you're taking over programs like you've done, culture has to be a big part of it. And what were some of those things that you did to change standards or to move things the direction that you wanted when you first started?
Yeah, I think when you mentioned the word culture, like culture is a word that gets brought up in every interview. Culture and relationships, right? I think those are the key words.
We're playing fast, and they're going to play fast. Those are the three.
Yeah. And I think maybe what I do differently, there could be a lot of other guys that are doing this as well from a culture standpoint, is not only do I want to build relationships with our players, but I want to make sure they're significant. I want to build significant relationships with our players and our players' families. And so an example of that is we have a movies with mom night where our guys in our program take their mothers on a date to the movies. I try to, when she's available, have my mom come as well. And that's just an example of one of the things we do where we try to get our families involved as well. Because the reality is we have these kids a lot and we take away family time. We do. And so through our program, I think we can give some family time back. We do a donuts with dads on a Saturday where our players are playing against their dads 5-on-5, and it's hilarious and fun all at the same time. We get music going and it's just a good time. We try to serve our community. We're big into food banks, and we allow our families to come help with that as well, not just our players. So I think building those significant relationships, building trust, not only player to coach, but family to coach, really helps programs start to turn the corner. When I got to Odessa, they didn't win one district game the year before. They were 0-for. And I'm not saying that, hey, because we did a movies with mom night, that's why we're able to make the playoffs the next year and have a little run after that.
That's the magic, guys. Yeah. Just do that, and you're for sure going to win.
Because we all know it takes players. But I do believe that when players have belief, right, and they're able to go home and families trust what you're doing with their son or nephew or grandson or wherever they live, it just helps. It helps your program grow. And so if you can find, other ways to help your program grow besides, hey guys, we need to get in the gym and put up shots. Well, we know that. We know we need to do that. But what else can we do? What else can we do to turn the corner, to get over the hump, And so those are the things that we've been able to do from a culture standpoint that I feel like have truly helped our team, get on a right path. Weatherford, it's been bad. It's been really bad for the last, since I think 2007. The last 2 years we've made the playoffs, which has been awesome for Weatherford. And, sometimes it's not winning a district championship. It's just taking the next step. For us, it was just getting to the playoffs. We got the 4 seed last year and what I think was one of the toughest districts in the state and had a pretty good record, and a couple kids signed to go play in college. And I think that's a big deal for Weatherford High School when you look at the past. And that could be a bad season for other programs, and I get that. But we're just trying to make our guys better in whatever way we can. It may be, man, you lost by 30 to North Crowley or to, Lake Ridge last year, but this year, man, you only lost by 4. You played a heck of a game, and you shouldn't even been in the game with them, and you didn't pull it out. But, man, you were right there. And so those confidence boosters are important for people to witness and for the players to feel.
Some really good nuggets there. I think you nailed it with the relationship piece. I think we only think about or focus on players, which is great. We need to do that. But there is another stakeholder that is really important that we want to have a connection to, and that's the parents. And I haven't heard of either of those examples of ways that we can connect with them even more. As the movies with mom night and donuts with dads, that just your varsity, and that's during the season?
It's during the season, but it's everybody. It's the entire program.
Wow. Entire program.
Whoever can make it. Yes.
Probably in the late 90s, early 2000s, there's so many family movies and rom-coms out there that would have been a no-brainer to take moms or families to. Man, what do you choose? What movies you choosing now that'll work? Because it's either a superhero movie or a horror movie or something. I don't know. What do you got?
That is the hardest part of the movies with mom night, because obviously we're not doing this for the movie, but you have to find something that's appropriate, right, for high school aged boys. And so, what movie was it? There was honestly, the movie was terrible. 2 years ago, the movie was awful and I felt bad. It was some type of soccer movie. It's like, if we can find something that involves sports, we want to do that. And that's what I tried to do. And the movie was so bad, and I apologize to everyone afterwards, but they were like, oh, we loved it because we don't get this time with our sons. It doesn't happen.
Man, yeah.
And so that's what we're trying to create.
And I love how you said it. I've usually gone by the deposit versus withdraw mentality of we withdraw from them, from their accounts so much. Sometimes it's financially, like, hey, you guys got to pay for your meals here. Oh yeah, there's a t-shirt here. Make sure you get these shorts here. So sometimes financially we're withdrawing from them, but you're right, so much from their time, where on a game night, they're getting home at 10 o'clock, hopefully by 10 o'clock. And then that day's done. Like their parents, their family, they can't get that back. So what a great way to deposit into their account by bringing basketball, our program, and their families together. And, when I'm just thinking back to it, I don't know in high school if I went to movies with my parents very much after, elementary or junior high. So that's a great idea.
So I'm taking a little notes too. I'm writing down that deposit into their account. I love that.
Oh yeah. We have to. And deposit, to me, another way is if we say practice is over at this time, that's when it's over. Like why withdraw from their account by staying 5 or 10 minutes or keeping them longer, thinking that that's what real coaches do.
Yeah.
No, like we want to honor their time, deposit into their account. And then another thing is what we get frustrated with or bent out of shape. Like you and I were talking in July. And so we're having open gyms right now, but I don't know about you. My open gyms are optional. I can't make them be there. I want them to be there. I love it, especially at this new place where I'm trying to meet them and everything. But with depositing is the gym's open for you. Hope you can be there. Yeah. Withdrawing is, why aren't you there? Don't you understand how important this is? And I guess you're not that serious about getting better if you're not going to come to open gym. Like, why would we do that in July? But man, I'm telling you this out loud, but those are the thoughts going on in my head as I'm seeing who is and isn't there. I just think there are going to be times, hey, we have a Saturday practice. I know we lost that last night but this is a time where I'm going to withdraw. Like, we got to do this. But hopefully by then we've deposited quite a bit.
Yeah. That's such a good way to put it. I agree with all of that. When you start taking time away, if you in practice at a certain time, like you just said, and then you want to go afterwards, 15 minutes, well, then now I'm making it about me. And the whole deal with high school athletics is it's about us and we and what we can accomplish. And so when you start making it about yourself, I just feel like, you're not doing things the way that athletics are set up to be and what you're supposed to learn as a high school student. They're not all going to go play at the next level. And it's not all about how many wins. Yes, we want to win. Everyone knows that we want to win, but it's about what they learn and, boys, turning boys into young men. And I know that's said all the time, but that's truly what it's about.
Yeah, and helping their parents to do that, and everybody else in their corner, their select coach, their skills trainer, all those people are stakeholders in this play, and we're not more important than anybody else. Obviously, you could probably put their parents, at the top of that, but we all have a part to play in that. I think that'd be an interesting talk or maybe even an activity for you and our coaching staffs to do, is write down all the ways that we can withdraw, all the ways that we do. Like, that'd be interesting. What are the things that we're doing that are taking away from them and their time? Okay, now that list of the things we just wrote down, how many are necessary? Like, how many actually lead to winning? And if any of them don't, then we know we shouldn't do that. And one thing that popped in my head was, in my opinion, in season, we should not add things the week of or even 2 weeks out. And that could be even like changing up a time of a practice or adding another hour or adding a game somewhere or something a week or two out. If we're changing up the schedule, that, like, for me, I want them to know our yearly schedule in August so they can start to plan way in advance of when we're doing things. So there's no excuse of, oh, I didn't know. No. I gave you this in August. We sat down, we went through it together. But then October, November comes and, hey, it's Thanksgiving week. You know what? We need to practice on Friday, the day after Thanksgiving. So let's make sure we're there from 9 to 11. Sorry, parents, but we got to do that. No, like, that's a huge withdrawal.
Yeah.
And does it lead to winning more, or are you and I think what that does too, Coach, anytime we're making those little changes or taking time away when we really do need it, when we have to, hey, there is something, the school is putting people in the gym and we got to bump up 2 hours early. I apologize, parents, but up to this point, we haven't done that.
Yeah.
Then we can take out of that account because we've put so much into it.
Yeah, I agree with all of that. You have to have a schedule because people do have lives outside of our practice time and our games and our tournaments. But if anything, we make a deposit sometimes. If you can tell, man, my guys, they just need this Saturday off. Hey, guys, guess what? Big win on Friday. Guess what, guys? No practice tomorrow, and they get excited about that every once in a while. Yeah, we want them in the gym practicing.
Hurts my feelings every time when they get excited for that.
Yeah,
but,
right.
But it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's fun, and it's always good to be able to do that here and there.
Man, I think you nailed something too with defining your success with your team. We know there's going to be only one state champ, and even though it's possible for every team to do it, it's not always probable. It's probably won't happen with the talent in the district for any given year. If you're at Duncanville, all right. Yeah, guys, listen, we're talking about state championships. That's the standard here.
Yeah.
And you know what? Look around here. We've got the talent to do it. But we do want to have goals or things that we're trying to achieve but celebrating and defining success. And I love the way you put it. The season or the wins that you had may be a failure at North Crowley with their insane win record that they have and all the district championships. But that doesn't mean that it's not special for us and that it's not something we should celebrate. And so at the beginning of a season where maybe you're looking around, you look at your guys, you look at their guys, you're like, I don't know. This in my head, I'm thinking this could be tough. But how do you start to define successes with your players, things that you want them to shoot for without saying, hey, we're probably not going to get to do this year, but let's try. What do you do? How do you set that up?
Yeah, I think it comes down to making sure your players have belief, no matter how good they are or aren't. You have to as a coach, because you can't change your roster. Like, we're not out recruiting, so this is what we have. And so we're not in college getting to choose this guy or this guy. These are the players that I have at Weatherford High School. And so when I speak to them, I have to be positive with them. I have to give them belief. Hey, we can do this. And when you approach a season like that, or specific games like that, and it doesn't matter who you're playing. It doesn't matter if you're playing Duncanville. You have to give guys belief, because if they believe, and as a coach, you got to believe too. Like, you can't be telling the guys, hey, we can do this, and then in the back of your mind, telling your assistant coach, man, we're going to get beat by 40 or whatever it is. Like, you have to believe as a coaching staff.
Completely lied to this team, lied to these guys, but let's go.
Yeah, you have to believe as a coach and as a coaching staff that there's a way to get this done. It may not happen, but I believe that we can do it. I believe we can figure it out. And crazier things have happened. I was at Buffalo High School. We were the 4 seed playing Nacogdoches Central Heights. They were the 1 seed, undefeated through district. Everyone told me, man, you don't want to see those guys. I'm like, oh boy. And we beat them on a 3 at the buzzer, first round of the playoffs. This was, 2014 or so. But everyone said, you have no chance. You have no chance of beating these guys. There's a chance, and you have to make sure that your team believes that. No matter what your roster looks like, no matter if you're an underdog, no matter if you didn't get picked to finish on TABC hoops and the top 4 spots, no matter what all that stuff says, you have to believe. And so I think that's the biggest thing. So how do you get your guys to believe? You get your guys to believe through the hard work that they're putting in, right? And the reminders and the positive feedback that you give your players daily. I think I heard someone on one of your podcasts talk about trying to speak to every single player in their program every day. And that's what we try to do. Regardless of where they are, our job is to make them better. If you have a grading system, if they're a D on your grading system, well, we're trying to get this guy to a C. We're not trying to get him to an A. It's not going to get to an A. He's not going to be a Division I player overnight, or even a college player, but we're just trying to make him better. And so that's the goal. With your roster, can you make your guys better, and can you create a belief with them that, hey, we can beat anyone on any given night. We can make it happen. And so that's the approach I've always taken with our guys.
And Baker said you can't coach something that you don't possess. And so it's going to be difficult for you to instill belief in your players if you don't believe. If you don't have that.
Yeah.
This may be a weird question, and I may be setting you up for failure here. So I'm going to acknowledge that. But how do you build belief? I get what you're saying about speaking positively and building belief into your players. How do you build that in yourself? Like the belief that you have in your ability to be able to put together workouts, a system, a plan to help players get better to where they can start to believe in what you're telling them and what you're showing them. But where does that come from?
I think that comes from going back to when I was a player. This comes into me being a 5'11", 6-foot guard, not recruited much, right? But I led the Metroplex in threes made. Back when they had the DFW leaderboard. I don't know if you remember that, but
oh yeah,
And I started getting Division I letters, right? I started getting, that's back when they were still doing letters. I have a big old letter box still. And I tell the kids, hey, a lot of you guys are 5'11", 6 foot. You have goals and aspirations of doing something that I was able to do. You know, I didn't play at the highest level, but I did go play in college. I got school paid for. I did some of those things, and you guys can do it too. And here's how I did it. Number one, I believed. You know, I thought I could do that. And if you don't believe, if you have doubts in yourself, that's probably not going to happen for you. If that's what your goal is, or if your goal is to make JV this year, or if your goal is to make the team this year, you have to believe that you can do that. And so how do we get to that point? Well, you have to put in the work. Guys, you're not going to get better at this sport unless you do attend these open gyms. Yes, they're non-mandatory, but you got to put in work. And if you're not putting in work here, well, you better be going to a park or a church or somewhere and finding a hoop. And if you can't find a hoop, well, you better get outside and work on your handle. Well, if you don't have a ball, well, you better be getting in shape, because the best players I know are in pretty good shape. You shoot it better when you're in better shape. You guard better when you're in better shape. So there's no excuse, if you really want this for yourself and for our team and to do things differently around here, you have to take the initiative. And so if we're doing that, we'll know. We'll know when it's game time. We'll know because we put in the work over the summer and in the fall, and now the season's here.
What's one thing that makes your program different?
I think it's what we do before, during, and after our games. And what I mean by that is, we try to be unique in what we do as a team and off the court in what we do. So before our games, I allow guest speakers to come in and speak to our team. And these are usually a male influence. It could be a dad, it could be an uncle, it could be somebody they know. And what I do is I have sign-ups for that for our home games is when I do this at our parent meeting. And we allow anyone to just come speak to our guys. It could be about basketball. It could not be about basketball. It could be about anything. I just want our guys to hear another voice at some point. And sometimes that can take their mind off the game just enough where it's positive, instead of having those jitters or whatever it may be before they get out there. They can hear someone speak. Like we had our principal come, one of our athletic directors come speak. We've had a couple different dads come speak. We've had when I was in Odessa, we had a couple guys that ended up making the NFL that also played high school basketball. Roy Williams was one of them, Dallas Cowboys receiver. He came and spoke to our kids. We'll have just different guys come speak to our guys, and I think it helps with their mindset before the game starts. And then during the game, if you ever play us, you're going to see everyone on our bench standing up. When the tip is happening, you see other teams, everyone's sitting down on their bench. If you look at our bench, everyone's standing up. It's illegal. You can't do that. But we do it every game. And I tell the guys, you sit down when the official tells you to sit down. And the funniest thing about that is we have stood up for an entire first half before because the officials just didn't pay attention to it. We were in a tournament once. Our guys were standing up the entire first half.
They sit down only when the officials tell them to.
Yes, or if I tell them to. But they stood up the whole time. And my belief is we're up. We're encouraging our teammates. We're communicating on the bench. When the officials tell us to sit down, I go and I high five everyone on the bench and I tell them, great job, you're ready to play. I believe you're ready to play now. And so it's just a way that we build intensity right from the tip. I also shake everyone's hand from the trainers on the end of the bench all the way through my assistant coaches and tell them to be ready. And so I say be ready to everybody. And we get ready to go. Also, before the game, we have a handshake that we do with each other where we say, I will play hard for you. Everyone does it to everyone. We give them a handshake and say, I will play hard for you. They do that to our coaches as well. It's just a mentality deal. And so then during the game, I think we're unique in our coaching staff. We have, for our baseline out of bounds plays and our slobs, we have signs that we hold up. Kind of like football games, right? Where you see the coaches holding up different cards. So we have a bunch of different cards that we hold up for zone, baseline out of bounds sets, and all of our sets as far as dead ball situations. We don't holler out anything. The players just know to turn and look. All right. And a coach, sometimes, depending on who we're playing, we may have all coaches standing up holding different cards. They know which coach has which quarter type of deal. Yeah. If we feel like they've scouted us well, yeah, we get into it. It makes it fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
I'm borrowing so many things. And if you ever get to watch the Midway Panthers, we may all be standing up at the beginning. I love the signs. Yeah, keep going, because you said something about after the game too.
Yeah, and then after the game, this is a simple gesture. I did it in my first job at Tyler Grace Community School when I was coaching there. I had the guys go to the exit doors, open the doors, and thank everyone for coming. And we just spent about 5 minutes doing that, win or lose. And it's hard sometimes. You lose a close game, man, your players really don't feel like getting to those doors and thanking the opponent's fans for coming after they were, yelling at them during the game or whatever it may be. But that's what we do at our home games. We open the doors and we thank everyone for coming. And the reason we do that is, one, I think people are going to want to come back. A simple gesture like that makes people want to come back. I think I heard Mark Pope at Kentucky say that it's a proven fact that if you go to a restaurant and eat and it's smooth and nothing goes wrong, you may come back. But if you go to a restaurant and something happened, they didn't bring out your order correctly, you didn't get fries, you got mashed potatoes instead, and you wanted French fries, whatever it may be, and you correct that, you make it right for those guests, that those people are 90% more likely to return because there was a problem and you fixed it. And so the problem was, man, we just lost the game, right? We just lost the game. But how are we going to react right now? Coach is mad. I'm mad, but how are we going to react? What are we going to do? So we still tell those other fans, thank you for coming. We tell our fans, thank you for coming, and we allow a little bit of time to talk to our parents or friends or whatever it may be, because what we don't want to do is have them in the locker room after a game and keep them in there for a certain amount of time, and the parents are waiting and they didn't get to speak to their son or whoever it may be, and then they're sitting there, now they're mad. We're in there talking to them for 30 minutes, which I don't want to do. But so we allow them to get to those exit doors and just say thank you for coming right after the game.
There's a lot right there with all of those things. Love the guest speaker ideas, standing before the game. Really love that one. The signs, that's super interesting. I like to see it. The players thanking fans for coming. Man, I think it's an awesome idea. I've been in your gym. So you've got the fans are elevated off the floor. You do have ways to get up. So kind of walk me through. Game's over, no huddle at all. It's already pre-planned of who's going where. And then so they're going all the way up past the bleachers where the doors are. Is that how it's working?
Yeah, they're getting so we have exterior doors that go outside. Then we have another line of doors right there. So we'll have, 2 guys on a door, 2 guys on a door, 2 guys on a door, 2 guys on a door. And then we'll have a couple guys maybe just standing near that area, because most people enter and exit through, all of our doors are numbered. It's our door number 13. So everyone knows to go to door number 13. And if you're not holding a door, you're standing on the side, just saying thank you for coming. Also, we do have an assistant coach, just because, especially in an intense game, right? If there was really intense and it went one way or the other, we won or we lost, we still want to make sure we're taking care of our guys. And if there's a situation where, and we know as coaches, like, hey, maybe we need to go ahead and head to the locker room type deal, but that really hasn't ever happened.
Game's over, buzzer sounds, win or lose. They're taking off and they're just going?
Well, we'll shake hands first.
Right.
Yeah, we make sure we
Yeah.
shake hands. I do have something to say about that, though. I may rub some people the wrong way on this. Now, when you were playing, Coach, in high school, when someone fouled out, did you go shake the official's hand?
Heck no.
And
I don't know where that came from.
I don't either. And I tell my guys, and some years I forget, but it just made me think about that. I tell our guys, hey, we don't go shake the official's hand, okay? Did you go shake the other coach's hand? Do you remember?
No.
We didn't either.
No.
And so I say, we also don't go shake the other coach's hand. You know, when you shake their hand after the game. And I've had parents yell at me from other teams saying, oh, that's unsportsmanlike. And I let it go. But I don't, this is why.
It's not a thing. That's not a rule. Sorry.
And this is why. When someone is out of the game, just like how we start the game, we're standing up, right? We're encouraging. When someone fouls out of the game, I don't want their mentality to be, oh, poor me. I'm slouched back in my chair. I'm over here on the end of the bench. I'm out of the game. So I'm mad about that. No, I need you on the bench encouraging. And I think when you go shake someone's hand and they tell you good game, and it's, say you made some silly fouls and you're out at the beginning of the fourth quarter, man, we've still got a whole nother quarter where now we need you. Your role has been, a starter and to play a lot of minutes, but you're fouled out. Now I need your role to change. I need you to be on the bench encouraging, like some of your teammates have been doing the whole game. And so if you go shake that other coach's hand and say, yeah, I'm sitting out, I'm out of the game now, I just feel like it's a mentality deal where to now you're not encouraging enough. And so I tell them
go to the locker room,
yeah.
get changed, and go grab your keys. Your parents will be waiting outside because obviously you're done.
Yeah.
I don't know where that came from, and it's still to this day, it catches me off guard when our guys do it or when a player comes up to me, because I don't know about you, like I'm rarely just standing there watching. I'm talking, I'm coaching, reminding, I'm thinking, and a player comes up and shakes my hand. If anybody's out there listening, or when you listen to this, if you know where that came from and when and what time period that started happening, because it's strange to me still.
I agree. It catches me off guard too. And another thing, when the starters are being announced, I have an assistant shake their hand because I'm communicating with our players about matchups or whatever that may be. And I hope this doesn't rub other coaches the wrong way, because it's not meant to at all. I just don't understand the shaking someone else's hand when you're fouled out of the game. I don't get it.
I wish you know what I love about tournaments? No intros. We just play. You get together and you play. If I had it my way, that's what we would do every game. But I know the kids love it and all this stuff. And there's something special about getting your name called, I guess. But no, I'm with you. I would probably outlaw after you're fouled out shaking hands. No, that's a technical. If you do that, you're not allowed to do that. and let's just go ahead or you don't have to give me a fist bump. You don't have to do that. I don't know. I don't know where in all of these habits or the ceremony part of this, when this started. I'd love to know though. Fascinated. That's incredible. Yeah. Talked a little bit about favorite style teach. Okay. This is a good one. You and I being at bigger public schools, but having quite a few players that do play multiple sports and wanting to navigate that well for those players. How do you deal with or balance two sport athletes?
Yeah, I always talk about how I love when guys come over from football, because I teach and coach a physical style of basketball. I love it. I love it when guys play football. When I interviewed for the job here at Weatherford, we're a one high school town, and our athletic director is actually our head football coach. And as a basketball coach, I was kind of like, okay, this is interesting. And I started calling different coaches that had worked for Aubrey Sims as our athletic director here. They're like, man, he's great. He is pro basketball, and you just wants all the football players to be involved in something else. And he has been awesome. He is a great athletic director, fully supports basketball, tries to get all of his football players to come play basketball after football season. Some guys that I'm like, Coach, we got to send them back to football like now. But he wants his guys playing multiple sports, and I absolutely love that. This is high school basketball. And I know that we as coaches, feel like we got to have a core group of guys to build in the off season. And I understand that. But if a kid wants to play another sport, we should never hold that back from them. This is their high school days, their high school years. They should be able to participate in whatever they want to do. And actually here in Weatherford, we have guys that play football, basketball, and baseball. Quite a few of them. And a lot of freshmen do it year one. And then, they'll kind of go to 2 sports, sometimes just 1. But, I am an advocate for playing multiple sports. Man, I love baseball a lot. I played it growing up. I played football. I did it all. Now, when I got to high school, I'll tell you what happened. I was out playing baseball with the team. I just made the team at R.L. Turner, and open gym was going on. And I was out there at baseball practice, and I played baseball growing up, but we were raking the field. They were about to walk, and open gym was going on. And that's when I knew, for me, I was like, oh, man, I know I want to try to play college basketball. I'm out here raking a field. I want to be in open gym right now. And so I get it. There's certain guys like myself that know that this is just really what I want to do. I want to focus on this. But then there's other guys that they play multiple, not only 2, but 3 all throughout high school. And they're good enough to go, do whatever one they want in college. Austin Jackson comes to mind. He was one of my teammates on the Dallas Mustangs. Got drafted by the Yankees straight out of high school, signed with Georgia Tech for basketball, ended up going baseball. But, there's guys that are absolutely phenomenal, but you don't have to be a phenomenal athlete to get to play multiple sports. I don't think it matters. I think if you want to play multiple sports, you should be allowed to do that.
You said something really big. It's about what the players want to do.
Yeah.
I think it's so easy for us to forget that it's our job and it's their game. And the moment we start to make it almost like it's their job too, man, we can really steal the fun out of that. And if you got guys that are talented enough, athletic enough, and just want to work hard enough in multiple sports, but they can do it, and it's what they love to do, I think if we're trying to persuade them to do other things or to not play something, man, that maybe says a lot about our motivation and our why.
Yeah. I really want kids to do what they want to do in their high school years. I don't want them to have regrets. One more story. When I was in Odessa, we had a wide receiver there that his freshman year, he got moved up to varsity and didn't play that much, came to basketball. We moved him up to varsity as well. 6'6", athletic. Had some success in basketball. And came to me at the end of basketball. They were going through a coaching change, football team. And he said, I don't want to go back to football. And I said, Ivan, you're 6'6". You've played football your whole life. There's a coaching change happening. I think you need to go back to football. Most basketball coaches would say, let's go. All right.
Yeah.
And anyway, Ivan Carrion is now probably going to be OU's starting X or Y this year. He ended up signing with OU, had a tremendous sophomore season, and then junior and senior years, one of the best wide receivers in the state. And he's, I think he's going to break out his sophomore year, which is this year at OU. So I'm excited for the kid.
That's convicting right there, because I think we've probably all been in those conversations before, whether there's a coaching change or not. Kid comes and says, hey, coach, I think I want to only do this. And there's a part of me that's like, yes, that means every open gym, every piece of skill work you're going to get. And that player probably has the best chance to become their best version of a basketball player possible. But what if there is something else that's better for them?
Exactly.
And man, that's where, I don't know, I'm impressed. I'm impressed by your ability to see that and make that call and help that player, because he's been able to play, get his college paid for from it, probably going to make some money doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And not that he couldn't in basketball, but man, I don't know. I like to say that if I was in your shoes, I would do the same thing. Unfortunately, I'm thinking of a couple times where, man, I probably did the opposite.
Yeah, it's tough. But I knew that kid needed football. He was our defensive MVP of our district 2 years back to back. I mean, the kid could play basketball. He could absolutely play. Yeah. I think he could have played in college, but I knew football was his ticket. And so I didn't want to take that away from him at all.
Coach, I know you're in Oklahoma out at the cabin with the family, so I want to let you go. But before that, the speed round. These are going to be quick questions. I know you a little bit, and man, we were teammates at one point. But after this, I'll know you even better. You ready?
Sure.
All right. Favorite ice cream flavor?
Mint chocolate chip.
Same. Let's go. Greatest shooter of all time?
Pistol Pete.
All right. We're 2 for 2
Are we really?
right now. We're 2 for
No
2.
way. No
Yeah.
way.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know what? Coach, that's a lie. No, okay. I don't ever get these asked back around. Favorite shooter, I would go with Curry, but if now you have the question of the GOAT, you have your favorite player, because I think those two can be different. Pistol Pete's my favorite player of all time. So when I heard you say the name, I went same, but for shooting, I would say Curry, greatest of all time. But I mean, obviously he's in that conversation. Favorite player of all time, Pistol Pete. So sorry about that, man. Do you stand up or sit down more during games?
I've tried to sit down, but stand.
This is a new one. And depending on how it goes, I may keep it or not. Favorite reality TV show?
I don't have an answer. I don't watch that much TV, but
That's fair. Okay.
yeah, man, I really try to, here recently with the kids, it's been all cartoons and Blippi and Miss Rachel. If we got any dads out there with younger ones, I feel like that's what I'm watching all the time now.
Do a little Survivor, Big Brother. It would help you out, I think.
I need to.
Let's go. Top 3 dinner guests, any time period.
I'm going to go with Michael Jordan, who is my GOAT, by the way. Let's go with, I'm going to say Denzel Washington. He's probably my favorite actor. I love all of his movies. I miss his movies, actually. I feel like he hasn't come out with anything in a while.
Hollywood's in a weird place right now, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go with, I'm going to say Rick Pitino, actually. I'm a huge Kentucky basketball fan. I was thinking, when you said that, I was thinking Pitino, Tubby Smith, Cal, Mark Pope. I started going down the line, and I was like, I'm going to go with Rick Pitino because that's when it first started for me. When I had family in a little town in Kentucky, we would go visit, turn on CBS. I can remember it, the knob on the TV, black and white. What's on in the state of Kentucky? Kentucky basketball. I'm 5, 6 years old. Huge fan. I mean, I can start naming you all those guys from back then. And then when Tubby was coaching, his son, Wayne Turner, Scott Padgett, all those guys. I'm a huge Kentucky basketball fan.
If you were to choose one of the Denzel Washington movies, what would be like the go-to? That's tough.
I'm probably going to say Training Day.
That was the one that came to my mind. Yeah. Super quotable. Yeah. Best basketball movie of all time.
Hoosiers. Yeah. It's got to be.
For high school, shot clock or no shot clock?
I'm going to say shot clock.
I'm surprised a little bit with the pause based on you're an outside the box thinker. And
yep.
I just thought that would be a no-brainer. You paused.
I go back and forth because when I was an assistant at Crowley, we went out to California for a tournament in Pasadena, and they play with a shot clock in California. And I loved the style of play from a lot of the teams we played against in California. A lot of quick hitters, a lot of everything was different. And I loved just the different styles that I saw. It was a style of play with quick hitters, and we got to get a shot off. So many different types of quick hitters that I loved with all the motion and stuff that I feel like really translated to the college level, maybe more so than what some of the Texas high school teams run. And so where we have a lot of continuity stuff because there is no shot clock, right? So ultimately, I think I want shot clock. I've voted yes every year for the shot clock.
Do you sit players the rest of the first half when they get 2 fouls?
No. I think some guys could be, but most of our players know, man, I've got 2 fouls. The likelihood, though, that a guy is just going to keep getting fouls called on him, I think is pretty slim. I always go back to the roster situation with most of these basketball questions because I've had to coach rosters where we may play 6 or 7 guys. And so, man, come here. I'm just going to throw somebody's name out from last year. Come here, Brendan. You're 6'7". We need you. Don't get another foul. Get back in there. Yeah. And you got to play smart and hard. And when you get 2 fouls, I think it's so important to understand that you still have to play hard on defense. It doesn't mean, I can't foul, so I'm just going to let them shoot a layup. Yeah.
Right.
Sorry, I know this is supposed to be fast. I'm answering these two.
No, it's good. It's good. I like when they go different directions. Favorite holiday?
Thanksgiving. Yep. I love getting together with all the family, having a good meal, watching the Cowboys.
Do you practice and play during that week, or do you give them off?
We usually play Monday and Tuesday, have an early practice Wednesday, and then they're off the rest of the time.
What book would you give someone?
Man, I'm going to have to go with, my mind went blank, but Coach K's, one of his last.
Leading with the Heart?
Leading with the Heart.
Oh,
there you go.
Okay.
Yep.
Man, that's a good one. I read that back at my Name and Forest days when I first started with Jeff Clarkson. That was my first year, and I thought that's kind of those standards those 5 standards that he had and how they came together as a fist. I really like that.
Yeah. And, a book that I need to read is one that I see right there behind you, yours, The Leftovers. I have not read that, and I'm going to have to do that.
Shameless. All right, I'll send you one.
That'd be awesome.
Man, thanks. 2 more, because we already got the GOAT done. You're Michael Jordan, no doubt. Favorite place to travel?
I'm going to go, we were actually just talking about that downstairs. My family, my wife and father-in-law and mother-in-law, they're beach people. I'm going to say the mountains. Anywhere in the mountains. I love cold weather. I should have been born up north. Because what's cold weather? It's basketball season. It sweats. It's, cold outside, snow, and you're going into a packed gym. That's what winter is to me in my mind. And I associate that with cold weather and mountains.
I could not be more opposite on that one. It's not possible. But last one, if this was your last year of coaching, what would you do more of?
My last year of coaching, what? I'd say take even more time out to have one-on-one conversations with each player, not just varsity, every player, and just really get to know kids and make sure that I am able to help them with any of their goals and aspirations.
It's awesome. Coach, this was great, man. I think it's always fun when I get to talk to somebody that has some outside of the box views on things and some creativity. I got jotted a bunch of things down that I'm going to experiment with or borrow. And man, I just thank you so much for your time.
I really appreciate you having me on. I feel honored to be on here. You're doing such a great job with this podcast, and just everything you're doing using basketball as a tool for what you do has been incredible. And I'm loving watching just your story and what you do.
I appreciate that. So many things that you shared. If coaches wanted to learn more, even about like something like the signs for baseline out of bounds, sideline out of bounds, what's a good way for them to maybe get in contact with you?
Yeah, they can text me or call me or send me an email. My email is hnwelch, my last name, with the number 5 @gmail.com. Or I don't mind sharing my cell phone on here at all.
Some people do.
Yeah. 214-287-3696. As coaches, what we do is we borrow or steal or share from everyone. And so we go do a college practice, which I love to do. We take notes down and we watch. And a lot of times we take those things, some of those things at least, that we feel like will translate to our high school team. We take those back. And so I'm all about, I would love to see every high school coach doing a movies with mom night, if that's something they picked up from me, whatever it may be. So, yeah, I would love to talk to more coaches just about anything. And I love learning as well. If someone calls me, I'm probably going to pick up something from them as well.
Man, well, Coach, thank you for giving up your time, especially while you're on vacation with your family. I hope you get back to enjoying the time with them, but really appreciate this, man.
Oh, it was great. I forgot I was in Broken Bow, so I kind of got excited again.
Thank you for checking out today's episode. Please take a moment to subscribe to this podcast, share it with your fellow coaches, and find us on social media for what's coming up next on the JAMODI Podcast. It's just a matter of doing it.